couldn't miss work. She didn't have sick days with her job. And so she just got up one morning and she said, please, God, please, anything. I'm not asking for much. I'll just take anything from you today. And feverish and sick, she goes out to the driveway to get in her car, and a pickup truck. Most of us have a picture or a story or an artifact we can point to in our houses and say, you see that right there? That's when God did this, that, and the other. That's a wonderful thing to keep the brain alive. If you come in my office at my house, up on the wall above my ukuleles, you'll see one large wicker basket over there, and you'll see one small wicker basket over there. And I'll lay back in my chair sometimes and just look up at them because they remind me. My mom's story was very simple. When my dad died and Mom went through a few years of struggling to make it, none of us knew she was struggling. My siblings and I, every time we call her and talk to her, Mom, how you doing? Mom, you need anything? Mom, everything all right? Mom would always say, everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Don't worry about me. And then years went by, and one time I'm up visiting my mom and helping her take care of a few paperwork issues, and I spent the night with her. And I'm sitting there on her couch looking in her living room, packed bags, ready to leave and come back to Houston. And I just glance up, and on the shelf over there, I see this black lunch pail from a man's metal lunchbox. And I'd seen it there for years, and I just assumed it was something she bought at Hobby Lobby and, stuck up there because that's what it looked like. And so I said, kind of wisecracking, Mom, what in the world is the man's lunchbox up on the cabinet for? And Mom said, oh, son, I never told you about the lunchbox. Well, no, I guess not. And she started telling me, well, sometime after your father passed away, I was not doing very well financially. And then she starts telling me the story. That she got paid monthly, and every month at the end of the month she would run out of money, and it didn't matter how many times she budgeted. There was no way she could stretch her pay. She paid her bills first, and then she bought groceries. And every month she spent the last 2 or 3 days with no coffee, no bread, no milk, and there wasn't anything she could do about it. She'd tried budgeting, and she said, I made a game out of it. I pretended that I was doing it for health reasons. Or sometimes I would say, I'm fasting. I'm just going to pretend I'm fasting for 2 days and not have anything to eat. That's all right. That's good. I've fasted before. And then one month she was sick. She fell ill before the end of the month, and she needed something desperately. She really needed food, and she ran out of money. And so one morning she couldn't miss work. She didn't have sick days with her job. And so she just got up one morning and she said, please, God, please, anything. I'm not asking for much. I'll just take anything from you today. And feverish and sick, she goes out to the driveway to get in her car, and a pickup truck comes rattling down the gravel road she lived on, and about the time it got past her driveway flying, she heard a clanging of metal and looked up in time to see a black lunch pail falling off that truck and him zooming by. She backed out, pulled down, stopped, walked over and got it out of the grass, got back and was going to catch him at a red light, and he wasn't there. She knew he'd probably be at the red light around the corner down by the highway. She hurried driving down there. He wasn't there, and he was out of sight, and she had to go to work. And on her way driving to work, she looked over at that lunchbox, and she thought, God, you probably wouldn't mind, would you? You just wouldn't mind if I just looked to see what's in there. She opened it. There were 2 sandwiches just like she would have made if she'd have had lunch meat. There was a bag of chips. There was a cookie or 2, an apple, and a thermos full of hot coffee. Oh, coffee, she said. I missed coffee the most the last few days of the month. So I figured God, I prayed that morning, God wouldn't mind. If I saw the man, I'd replace it. And so I drank that coffee, and I rationed those sandwiches out for the next 2 or 3 days, and I made it. And so I never did see the man again, but thereafter I wouldn't throw this lunch pail away for anything in the world. I put it up on a shelf because it reminds me that God is an amazing provider. And then when she finished her story, I just looked at her and I said, you make me so mad. She said, what? I said, you are such a liar. You are such a liar. What is wrong with you, son? You know how mad that makes me? Your sons and your daughters. Every time we call you, we say, "Are you okay? You need anything? How you doing on money?" And you say, "Oh, I'm fine." You lie. Not one of your kids would have ever let you miss a meal. If we had known you were hungry. Oh, I was mad. I gritted my teeth. I was mad. I can't believe you did this. Oh, son, that was so long ago, it doesn't matter anymore. It does matter. And she just brushed me off and laughed and said, "Oh, son, remember the baskets? I told you about the baskets a long time ago." And she did. Philosophizer mom. Mom's philosophy at some point in my youth, when I was fussing about how unfair life was, Mom's philosophy was, "Son, everybody in life gets two baskets. Everybody does. You get a blessing basket and you get a cursing basket. And everybody's blessing basket is bigger than their cursing basket. But the secret to happiness in life is which basket you choose to carry." And with that, she picked up a big laundry wicker basket, put her arms around it, and held it right here. And she said, "You got to choose to carry the blessing basket in life." I said, "Well, what do you do with the cursing basket?" "Oh," she nudged it with her foot, "you just put it over there somewhere." You got to carry the blessing basket. And then when people call you and say, "How are you doing, Mom?" you just look down in that basket you're holding. You say, "I'm fine." Because you are. When you remember the blessing of the Lord that you live under. Now, I'm telling you, to this day, you can ask my kids, my wife, you ask me how I am, I'll tell you, I'm wonderful. I might not be. You will never know, because I choose to look in the basket that I choose to hold, and the basket I choose to hold is God is still good in spite of the fact. In spite of the fact.